Hey, co-reporters, welcome back to my channel. It's time for a recap of what went down on last night's Teen Mom Family Reunion. I normally watch the show, you guys know, right? Like this season, I've been watching it on MTV USA's website, which has been incredible because that has allowed me to take screenshots. But unfortunately, now on the USA website, they no longer allow you to watch the episodes for free. So I've had to watch it on the Canadian website, using my VPN. And I do have an affiliate link to the VPN service I use in the comment section down below, by the way. So I used it, I turned it to Canada instead. And what happened? As usual, they do not allow me to take screen captures. So sorry, this recap is not going to be as full of screen caps as the last ones, unfortunately. But it was such a good episode, you guys. I am so looking forward to breaking it down with you. So when the episode starts, we pick back up with the fight that went down between Pastor T and Roxanne. And you guys already know, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I'm actually live on TikTok right now. And we talked about how crazy it was that Roxanne had picked up a chair, getting ready to throw it at T. It was so wild. I have to be honest with you. And then we also got a little bit more context into some of the drama that Roxanne had with Ashley. Apparently, Ashley was on Instagram telling Roxanne that she's not ready for smoke with her mom because the moms got into some beef. Of course, they don't want to get into it with the daughters. And Ashley decided to insert herself into that, basically saying, oh, Roxanne, you're weak. You don't want it with my mama. And that's why Roxanne can't stand her. And I have to tell you guys, Cheyenne's mom, Margaret, was so funny when she's like, how do you guys have the energy to be fighting like this at our age? I've got a bad knee. I was like, okay. Love her. She's very quiet, but when she talks, she can be quite funny and cute. So things get a little bit weird, what do you call that? Contradictory as usual when Briana, and sorry, I'm using old screenshots just to give you guys something to kind of look at here, but this is from last week's episode. But Briana, in her talking head, she claims that Ashley and T did not learn anything from Coach B's exercise, which was crazy ironic to me because it felt like it was her mom who kept on trying to escalate the fight at the table, even going so far as to get up and try to grab a chair and seemingly throw it at T. Like, Brie, what are you talking about here, And then things kind of calm down and everything. And Roxanne goes inside. Jade wants to make cinnamon rolls. And so they go inside for that activity. And Pastor T, she's getting along with the people outside, just talking about everything that went down. And Roxanne, she wants to escalate things further. So she starts banging on the door and talking about how she thinks that Ashley is a bully and whatnot, which is like, all right, this situation already calmed down. So what are you coming back here for at this point, Roxanne, if not just to instigate? By the way, I forgot to tell you guys at the top of this recap, but I truly feel as though things would not have gotten to the point where they got to, which is Brianna getting spit on, if Roxanne did not continuously try to instigate the fight. I think at the end of the day, Roxanne has herself to blame for her daughter getting spit on in the face. And Brianna has responsibility in that too, talking about, oh, let's go fight. Meanwhile, you climb up on not even just a regular table, but an island, which is even taller than a table. It just does not add up, right? So that is just a little bit of a segue, but I digress. So listen, glamorous April could not stand for Roxanne slamming on the glass door like that. So what does she do? She flipped. Oh, I did it myself. Sorry, you guys. So she flips the bird at her through the window. And I was like, listen, at this point, we have to get April out of here. These girls are such a bad influence on her. She would never behave this way in Beverly Hills. Mind you, still outside, some tensions continue to form. And I do have to say that I was quite glad to see Kaya's mom calling out Pastor T for pretending that she doesn't get involved in the children's drama. Meanwhile, she went on Instagram and called her daughter Kaya a clown. And, something I noticed about both Pastor T and Ashley is that they never really take responsibility. They'll always explain away the things that they do and come up with excuses for them. But at least it was a respectful conversation between the two of them at the end of the day. And Pastor T did apologize. Kaya seemingly accepted it at the table, but then in her talking head, she says that it did not feel genuine, which I don't know. Like, what do you want, right? Like, she apologized. What do you want? But I'm not her. I'm not the one who got called a clown on Instagram. So I guess I don't know what to expect in that sort of a situation. But at least she didn't try to escalate things or whatever over there. It seems like she just wants to kind of let bygones be bygones and keep her eye on Pastor T moving forward. One thing I do have to say, you guys, is when I watch these fights, all the screaming, all the cursing, all the flipping the birds, I do get at least a little sad that these people are some people's parents. You know, it's like, oh, like how sad and kind of like embarrassing that that's what they are to some people. You know what I mean? Like, especially just watching the way that Roxanne is running around and this and that, just constantly trying to like goad Pastor T into like a big blowout fight and whatnot. It's like, come on, like, you've got your daughter here, set some kind of an example for her. And at the same time, I do get happy that my parents are not like this at all. Like, my parents are so quiet. I've never heard my parents fight, yell, nothing like that. So yeah, it's just night and day for me. It really is, I have to say. Thank God. So one thing that really stood out to me was that Kate said that all the drama going on in the house was starting to take a toll on her mental health. And you really see her. She seems very distraught throughout this episode, which is quite sad in my opinion. It kind of feels like, listen, Kate, this is not your drama. So if you feel the need to take a step back for the sake of your mental health, take that step back, because you're looking like you're going through it, and you shouldn't, because it has nothing to do with you. So Emily, one of my channel members, says in the back, when you wonder how these girls learn to behave so atrociously, then you see the examples that their mothers set for them. It's unfortunate. Violence is never an acceptable form of communication. Absolutely. I completely agree. Like, this show, and that's why I was so excited to watch it, just to see, like, you really see why these girls wound up the way that they did. And unfortunately, most of them, they wound up like pretty poorly. They turned out pretty poorly. And when you see the way that the mothers are, you're like, all right, well, poor thing did not really stand a chance anyway. So let me kind of go easy on her. So one thing that kind of made me sad for Kate, seeing the way that all of this was taking a toll on her mental health, was that she's got like $500,000 worth of tax debt. And so I think that's the only reason why she's putting herself through this, because she needs to pay it off, and she's not going to have another gig that pays like this. And I feel like the days are kind of numbered, even though we all know that they're waiting for something kind of sinister to happen with this show. That's why they're refusing to pull the plug despite the bad ratings. But it kind of feels like she's like, oh God, this is really hard on me. I should not be doing this, but I need to pay off my debt. So that's why I'm going to power through it anyway. So I feel kind of rude for saying this, or even asking this, but did anybody else laugh when Roxanne started crying about how her daughter, Brianna, is constantly being attacked by these girls and this and that and whatnot and being bullied? I'm like, Roxanne, please. Your daughter, Brianna, is the same girl that went on the internet to laugh at her co-star allegedly being beat up by her baby daddy. She made fun of that. And then when it comes to the same co-star, she was friends with her at the time. And I'm talking about Kale Lowry, but she and Kale were friends. They were surgery sisters. And Brianna turned around, went behind her back, and started dating her ex-husband. That was grimy, okay? And then that was kind of like the root of all their issues. And what happens next? At a certain point, Kale sues Brianna for talking about her on Instagram, which was a bogus lawsuit. I said it from the very beginning. She was not going to win it. And obviously she did not. But after winning the lawsuit, what did Brianna say or do? Or was it in the middle of the lawsuit? I can't remember. Someone let me know. But in the lawsuit, or sometime after it, Brianna sends Kale a treadmill. Kale is a plus size woman. And it was very obviously one of those things to say, listen, you know, big girl, or you this or you that. She was taunting her about her weight. So it's just ironic to see the way that her mom is crying over her being attacked and stuff by these girls, like she's some sort of innocent angel who would never treat anyone poorly, is just so ridiculous. Now, we already talked about how Kaya's mom confronted Pastor T about like her comments on Kaya on Instagram. Well, Kaya decides to take things to Ashley and say, listen, Ashley, there was a dispute between us on Instagram that did not sit right with me, and I want to talk to you about it. And so Ashley, just like her mom, kind of deflects responsibility for what it is that she did that hurt Kaya's feelings. Like she just kept talking around in circles. And I felt bad for Kaya watching that because Kaya talks a lot about how it's difficult for her to open up about her feelings in the first place. So to watch her take the courage to open up about her feelings, just to have Ashley kind of talking circles around her, almost gaslighting her about her experience and whatnot, like that did not sit right with me personally. And then Amber Portwood decided to jump into it, even though it had nothing to do with her. She tried to act like she was above all of this. She's like, why do you guys even fight on social media? And Kaya rightfully called her out. She's like, Amber, stop it. Stop acting like you're above all of this and that you and your cast have not fought on social media or, in general or anything like that. And MTV came with the tapes. They showed a time when Amber rushed the stage trying to slap Farrah Abraham in the face over her deadbeat loser boyfriend, Matt, right? The guy who had like 20 kids running around with like 18 different women and whatnot. Like, come on now. So by the way, remember how on the first episode, the last few episodes, we talked about Kaya's like baby hairs being more like 401k hairs because they were past grown. They were like down here. They got even lower this episode. So I don't even know. Is there anything like beyond 401k? Because this was a bit much. Your baby hair should not be touching your eyebrows. That is too much. At that point, you need to either trim them or just let it go. Let them just be hair in general at this point. So now, at this point, remember how I said that Pastor T apologized to Kaya for calling her a clown on Instagram? Well, Roxanne, the instigator, was watching all of this play out from the inside. They have like glass paneling, so you can see all of it. And glass paneling is not very soundproof, so you can hear what is going on outside. She just starts like railing and losing it in the background and whatnot. And she was really amped up this episode. I don't know if it was alcohol or what. Like, she was just a little too amped up. It seemed weird. Like, she was desperate, like literally begging for a fight. And I just did not understand it. She's like screaming in the house. She starts like banging the windows and stuff and taunting Pastor T. Like, it was just very, 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 very weird. Speaking of weird, Beverly Hills April, she was real drunk this episode. We saw her throwing back the White Claws in the past few episodes, and that continued into this week. So she goes inside to apologize to Roxanne for flipping her off. And the apology was a little bit uncomfortable to watch because she was just so lit and so far in Roxanne's space. Like, she was like hovering on her. She was grabbing on her with the apology and whatnot. And I could practically smell the whiskey and White Claw just watching the episode go down. Like, it was, it just was a lot, to be honest with you. So after she finishes with her apology, she decided to go outside looking for Moscato. I'm sorry, but her taste in alcohol is it leaves a lot to be desired, right? She's drinking White Claw. Now she's looking for Moscato. I'm sorry, but like her taste in wine and alcohol is just, like I said, it leaves a lot to be desired, but I digress. So as she goes out screaming about looking for Moscato, Larry, the producer, is like, listen, no more alcohol for tonight. And he was quite calm about it and everything. But April flipped out at that point. She was not happy. She was like, wow, F you guys, to him, to the producers. And then she starts yelling about how nobody else in the house has been cut off from their alcohol and whatnot. She flips off the camera and everything. She even takes Kaya's mom. I don't know why. I had never thought to look at her name tag when I put it up, but Kaya's mom's glass and everything. She's like, it's just not fair. And that was quite sad. How embarrassing for her daughter, Caitlin. Like, Caitlin's face at this point was so red. Like, she looked so humiliated. If I were her and my mother was behaving like that, like I said, you guys, my mom doesn't drink. She's never drank before. But if my mother was like that, oh my God, I would run off crying. Like, Mom, you're embarrassing me. Like, just run off. I don't even know where I'm going, but I'm running off because I would be so stressed out. And the fact that it's on TV, Lord have mercy, Kate. I'm distressed like half this episode, Caitlin. Like, whew. Anyway, Larry, at that point, he has to take Brianna and her mother, Roxanne, outside to tell them, listen, Roxanne, I know that you're upset with Pastor T and that hasn't been resolved, but that's okay. Why don't we table it for today? Because not everything can be fixed in one day or whatever, and that's fine. So why don't we leave it alone? He basically had to tell them, stop trying to antagonize that woman. Leave her alone. You're upset with her. You hate her. We get it, but we don't want this devolving into a physical fight or anything like that. So I feel like that alone already shows us that Roxanne and Brianna were the ones who were in the wrong this episode, right? With the fight and whatnot, or else, like, come on. I feel like if it were T and Ashley instigating, he would have gone to them and said that. But instead, he said it to Roxanne and Brianna because it was Roxanne, not even Brianna, but Roxanne, her grown ass, trying to look for a fight the entire day. Remember, she was banging on windows and stuff. Like if T would be having a conversation with someone else, she'd be chiming in from the inside all loud, like all the screaming. It was too much. Now, this is where the fight actually breaks out. Everybody goes to the kitchen later on in the day, in the night, I should say, because it was quite dark out. And at a certain point, there's this corner in the kitchen with like a counter and stuff, and then the island on the other side, and then like a leeway. So on the island side of the kitchen were Roxanne and her daughter Brianna. And then in walk Pastor T and Ashley to go on the other side to grab some, I guess, utensils from the drawer. And Brianna and Roxanne, again, there they go instigating. They scoff when they scoff when Ashley and T walk in. They're like, huh, like, and it was like, okay, like you guys, again, with this stuff, like, did Larry not just tell you guys to comment, stop looking for a fight? Like, what are you doing at this point, And then remember last week's episode, Ashley complained about how Roxanne kept going out of her way to physically bump into her. She's like, I know she's doing it on purpose. She's trying to taunt me, but she's not going to get that reaction out of me. So she needs to stop though, because I can only like take it and ignore it for so long. And here she goes again, Roxanne bumping into people. So let me pull it up. I've got the photo. Look, there's space. It's hard to tell because her outfit is similar color to the counter, but there's space between her and the counter. She could have gone further to her right or left if she really did not want to touch T, but she went close specifically to bump that woman. And so Pastor T says, listen, you can say, excuse me, after Roxanne bumps into her. And then Roxanne completely denies ever even bumping into her. Then she refuses to apologize. Guys, when I say the Canadian in me, the way I'm always so ready to say, excuse me, or sorry, like when it comes to like bumping into people or like literally anything, I would not have been able to take it. Like, I'm the type, and I think this is, if you're Canadian as well, let me know in the comments, okay? But like, we apologize so much. Like, I had to like kind of check myself moving here to Paris because the vibe is not like that here at all. Like, people will like, bump into you and keep it moving. And like, I will even apologize if someone else bumped into me, like I would have been like T in that situation being like, oh, sorry, when Roxanne's the one that bumped it. You know what I mean? Like it was something I had to unlearn. So I was quite shocked to see her bump into someone and flat out refuse to say, excuse me. I'm like, oh, people, what? That's crazy. How could she? That's just so wow. Like Roxanne's attitude was just so nasty this whole episode. It truly was. She was so vindictive. She did not come with good intentions. She did not come to learn or grow or anything like that. She wanted to pay Pastor T back for whatever went down on the internet. She wanted to pay Ashley back for whatever went down on the internet. And like I said, MTV went back and rolled the tape, even though Roxanne was trying to gaslight Pastor T. MTV went and rolled the tape, and we saw very clearly that Roxanne did, in fact, bump into Pastor T. And we also saw that there was enough space, at least 4 inches there, for her to scoot over a little more to her left to her right, in order to avoid bumping into that woman. But of course, she wanted to. So now, listen, at this point, things pop off because Roxanne refuses to simply apologize for bumping into the woman. And so Ashley, she says, do you guys want to square up? Because we can square up. We can go toe to toe. Mind you, she was pregnant at this point. Like, just knowing that, like, it grosses me out. Like, you were pregnant with a whole baby and you're trying to fight people? Like, endangerment much, like that's so weird. And so let me take this little banner down so you guys can see. Guess what happens next? Brianna Oh my God, she climbs onto the island looking stupid with her trapezoid booty, like the full diaper up there. Like she's expecting Ashley to climb up onto that tiny little like counter and fight with her. Like, what part of let's fight like says, let me get on a counter? Like, it just, what? Like, she was so obviously was too scared to fight, but she wanted to seem like she would do it by climbing on a cat. Like, she's always so, oh my God, this woman, she loves to pretend that she can get down and fight. But I keep telling you, she would not bust a grape in a food fight. She is scared for her life. We saw on Teen Mom 2, Kaylin, she put on her sneakers and some booty shorts, and she told Brianna, come on, let's go in this conference room and duke it out, fist to fist. Brianna was too scared. She was walking away and whatnot. And then when Kale finally went to her dressing room, guess what Brianna in her scared, shaky voice says? That's right, Kale. You better go or else I'll smack you. Girl, you had all this time to smack her and you ran away. And then when there's the audience out there, when there's security out there and all these people, Brianna decides to rush to stage pretending she's going to beat up Kale, but she knew it wasn't possible with all the people in the security there, you know? Just like she knew it was not going to be possible to fight on this damn island. Like, she just, oh my God. I was really happy and I was laughing so much when Ashley called her out. She's like, come on now, really? Really? You want to fight, but you're climbing on the island? Just say you're scared, boo. Just say you're scared. I was like, for real, Brianna, just say you're scared because it shows. She's over there with like her knees trembling. Come on, Ashley, let's fight. Stop it, girl. You do not want that smoke. You can't handle the smoke, okay? So when Ashley asked her, why are you up there? She's like, so that I can kick you in the throat. I have a nephew. He's 7 years old. That sounds like something like he would say as a little boy. Let me kick you in the throat. Like a grown ass woman in her 30s talking about, I'm going to jump off this counter and kick you in the throat. Like, are you not embarrassed? Like, that is so stupid. You're so goofy. Oh my God. That was hilarious. Like, I love when people are unintentionally hilarious because that is one thing that Brianna absolutely has on lock. So at this point, Ashley is tired of the girl hiding up there. So she decides to spit on her. Listen, it's Roxanne's fault that this happened because all day she was looking for a fight. And then her goofy ass daughter climbs up on the island while asking for a fight as well, talking about let's fight, let's fight. You've got someone who's already like agitated down there and you're just climbing up there away from them, all scared, climbing up on the table and all that, like trying to like intimidate them with the height difference between you on the table and them down there. Come on now. Like, it was just not a good mixture of things, you know, like they both kind of contributed to this. They truly did. And again, like I said before, Brianna said on Instagram, she said this on Instagram, and I posted this on my Twitter if you go check on my Grace Report Twitter, but she initially said before they filmed this that she would love to spit in Kale's face. So I feel like, and you know, the fight between Brianna and Ashley is Ashley playing bulldog guard dog for Kale. So she saw that. And I think that that's what gave her the inspiration to spit in Brianna's face. Like, oh, you want to spit in my girl's face? Let me spit on your face then. And because Brianna, while claiming she wanted to fight, was retreating as far as possible, that's the only way that she could reach her, unfortunately. And that's what happened. And now at this point, apparently, Pastor T starts throwing wine bottle. Then Brianna throws a metal water bottle into the crowd. And these things are really heavy and they could have really injured anybody because there was everybody there in the kitchen. And so I really was not feeling that, to be honest with you, from either of them. And then Brie she finally gets off that cabinet she was hiding on. And then she starts acting like she's going to rush Ashley and fight her. Girl, you had all this time. If you would have gotten down there and actually gotten in her face like you were about to fight her properly, you would not have been spit on in the first place. So give it up at this point. We know you're scared, okay? I think her knees were still trembling when she was down there. And so then we have Jade. She is scolding Pastor T like she is her mama or something. And speaking of her mama, where is Big Gulp Christy? That is 2 episodes now that they've barely used that star, and I'm getting tired of it. One thing I will tell you guys is I'm happy that we're getting rid of Brianna and her mom because that opens up room for us to see more Big Gulp Christy, who is the person that I really want to see. You know, I'm not really feeling these other people, but I digress. So she scolds T. She's like, shame on you acting this way at your age. I was like, damn, Jade, but it's true. And then T, she goes, oh, and you know what? At my age, I still look better than you two. to Jade and Brianna, which I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, okay? And then you know what happens? Drunk ass April, she comes out of nowhere to console Pastor T. And I'm like, well, where the hell was this girl when everybody else was fighting in the kitchen? You know what happened? Pastor T was throwing wine bottles and everybody was distracted. Brianna was throwing water bottles. She probably went in the wine fridge, took it all, hid it in her room, then came stumbling out looking, for Pastor T so that like she could pretend everything was normal. I just know that that's what she did while everyone was fighting and distracted. Because remember, she got cut off from the booze earlier. So everybody's separated. The fight is over. And poor Caitlin, she seemed more concerned for Ashley's baby than Ashley was herself. So she had already known this whole time that Ashley was pregnant. And so she's like, Ashley, you don't need to be stressing yourself, without saying the whole pregnancy thing. But like Ashley could not be bothered. She was just so ready to like fight. And she just kept on talking about how it was on site the next time she saw Brianna. Brianna walked by her in the kitchen, anything like that. And like Kate, she's just so flushed. She's so red. She's so flustered. And so she decides to take matters into her own hands. She's like, I'm scared that the girls are going to beat up Ashley, like when they see her again or something like that, because there are alliances in the house. So why don't I protect her baby, since she's not interested in doing that? Why don't I protect her baby by telling the other girls, listen, lay off her because she's pregnant. So she does. She goes in there and tells other people. I've heard that this is quite controversial. So you guys let me know if you think Kate made the right decision. I personally see her intention there. And so for that reason, I think she made the right decision. She meant well. It's like, if you know someone's pregnant and they're out there like fighting and someone could like beat them up, like I would tell someone who was about to beat up the pregnant woman, listen, she's pregnant. Okay. Like I think she was coming from a good place there. So that was quite sad. And everyone was disgusted in the house that Ashley was pregnant and looking for a fight, inviting fights and this and that. They were like, really? Like, that's so trashy. I'm sorry. It is. It really is. I am quite disgusted that Ashley would behave that way while pregnant. It was horrible. I know that it was Brianna and her mom, mainly her mom, Roxanne, who were antagonizing and looking for a fight all day. But still, the way Ashley behaved while pregnant is just a huge no. So, and again, did I mention how stressed Kate looked while she was telling people this? Like, she was flushed and stressed. Like, I really feel bad for her being in here. It just doesn't seem like something that's very healthy for her. So now, listen, at this point, Larry goes outside to talk to Pastor T and Ashley to let them know they need to go to a hotel while they figure things out to see what they're going to do. Ashley's pissed. She's like, no, get rid of them. They've been trying to fight us all day, blah, blah. And then on the inside, Cheyenne starts trying to antagonize Brianna to get her to go back out there and fight Ashley, even though she just heard about this girl being pregnant, which side eye to you, Cheyenne. But she goes, I just know if that were me, I would be bursting through the glass window trying to beat her up. Girl, you know Brianna cannot fight. Stop it. She's not bursting through no windows unless she knows security is there to stop Ashley from being able to whoop her ass. Okay, like stop. Like that was just kind of weird, but I digress. And then as Ashley is getting, told by Larry that she needs to go to the hotel, she's like, and this was nasty. She was trying so hard. It was nasty. She's like, oh, my spit is the most holy thing she's ever touched. She should be honored. She should be grateful. She should be thankful. It's holy. I baptized her with my spit. Girl, bye. That is just so nasty and so lame. Get a life. Get a freaking life. She's like, she's dirty and this and that and disgusting. I'm sorry, but what's disgusting is trying to physically fight people while you're pregnant. Okay, stop. Now, everything kind of ends here. We also find out that Brianna and her mom do have to leave the villa as well. And as Ashley's in her car, no one else is around. It's just her mom in the car and the driver. And she starts yelling, F you and your ugly ass, dirty ass mama. Girl, this is why people fight you. This is why people don't like you. You've got a mouth that is just, it's vulgar, and people can't get with that. And I understand why. Okay. Anyway, you guys, that does it. That's a recap. This is quite a long recap because it was a juicy episode. I'm telling you guys, Teen Mom Family Reunion Season 2 is lit. Okay. Like it is good. if you, like me, don't typically watch the Teen Mom anymore, because I know some people on my TikTok also said that they stopped watching it a while ago, this will be the thing to get you back into Teen Mom for the time being, because it's quite good. And the moms add a whole new dynamic, the grandmas, the glamas. I think it's worth the watch, especially this episode. If you only watch one episode, let it be this one, season 2, episode 3. Okay. If you need a VPN to watch, I've got an affiliate link to the one that I use in the comment section down below. But in the meantime, let me know what you thought about the episode. Who instigated the fight at the end of the day? Who was in the right? Who was in the wrong? Maybe it was both of them. I don't know. You let me know in the comment section. And as usual, we'll chat. Okay. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.